the First Lady of Sports, Rachel Hill.
Hey yo, what's up? This is your girl Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and you are listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU, a 95.9 FM. It is a hot day in the city today, about 90 degrees. I'm super excited. Summer weather is here. I'm feeling good. There's a lot going on in the sports world. We got a lot to talk about today. I'm here with my boy, Sugar Booger, in the house. We've missed him. He is joining us back today. So super excited to have him in the house and talk. And you listen to some of the hottest sports talk on the radio, delivered to you by a woman with my cast of male friends that help me out and co-host with me from time to time. So appreciate you guys. And Sugar Booger, man, what's up with you, sir?
What's up, Rachel? I'm just glad to be here and hanging out. And I've missed a couple weeks, but I'm back.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to be gone next week, and then I'll be back. It's hit or miss right now. But my son is graduating high school.
Congratulations.
So there's all kinds of stuff going on with that. So,
Yeah.
you know,
Senior year.
we'll figure it out.
Congratulations.
But thank you very much. It's exciting.
And he's racking up like a lot of awards and stuff.
Yeah,
too.
lots of scholarships. College is pretty much paid for. So
Okay.
excited with that. All academic scholarships.
Yeah.
So I'm excited for that.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, for sure.
And didn't he just like win something or got awarded or something like
Couple
that?
scholarships he got awarded.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's what you had posted
Yeah.
on Facebook about
Yeah,
that?
yeah. He was getting some scholarships in his sent to him. So
What does he want to be when he grew up?
it's 5'7". I don't know if he's gonna hit that. No, he wants to be a psychologist right now. He always wanted to be a chef. Now he wants to be a psychologist. That will change because nobody ever does what they say they're going to college for. That's never the way that ever ends up. So whatever he does, I'm sure he will be successful.
Well, for me, it kind of depended on what math I had to go to, what major.
Right. Right. Well, right now he's a psychologist. I tell you what, I had to take college algebra 1, I think 5 times.
Really?
In school. It was the worst. I spent about $10,000 on college algebra classes.
You know what? And this is funny. The only class I ever failed at Ohio State was remedial math.
Is that right?
And yeah, it was called 050 and it was nicknamed 05 Slow. And I failed it. But the thing is, I'm a gifted reader and advanced reader, but my brain just cannot compute what numbers need to do. But one of the things that I think I've talked about on air is that here in the U.S., what happens is teachers move so fast.
Right.
If a student doesn't grasp the original concept, they're always going to be behind.
I agree.
So they don't work with, and everybody learns a little bit differently. So
I would rather read well than do math well.
Well, the thing is,
one thing that's frustrating is watching people that can't read or spell. That's hard. I'd rather be able to do that.
But most jobs, you're not really using math unless it's a specialty type thing. All I need to know how to do is add, subtract, multiply, and divide my money. That's all I need to do, really.
I got a calculator right in my phone that does all the work for me.
But what are we looking up the obtuse angle of a triangle for?
But my son, though, that new math they teach him, my son is like Rain Man.
Okay.
He could be like, what's 1,785 times 567? He thinks for 3 seconds and he knows the answer. I'm like, I don't know. They made him computers, but
it's sick, man. I don't know.
It's fun this time too, watching the kids, the young athletes committing to their colleges of choice and seeing where people are going. And track season is ending up right now. I got a shout out my guy Ty Malone from Fairport High School that just qualified in 4 events going on to regionals: high jump, long jump, hurdles. He is a beast mode athlete. He's a sophomore at Fairport High School. He's 6'4".
Oh, wow.
6'5". Beast mode basketball player, beast mode football player, and now he just picked up track and he's going for 4 events. So shouts out to my guy Ty Malone. That's the homie. But I love watching the kids excel and doing all this cool stuff.
Did he commit to school already too?
He's only a sophomore.
Yeah.
He didn't commit anywhere. He's just eating everything up. I don't even think he knows what sport he wants to play in college because he's good at everything. So he hasn't even made that decision. But I watch Chris Styles, especially this time of year, talking about all the John Marshall kids and where they're going. And it's a fun time for young kids to kind of see where their future is going to go. So it's been fun watching all of that.
Yeah, this time of year is always, and then I always have this disappointment when a kid tells me they're not going to Ohio State.
Yeah, not everybody can go to Ohio State, Rachel.
I know, but I just be so disappointed when I ask them when they go to school and they be like X, Y, and Z, and I'm just like, well, what about Ohio State?
Because they don't want to
like,
go sit the bench for Ohio State for 5 years and they're like, I want to play.
I mean, this is just regular academics though too. When people talk about they going to school, you know,
true.
I'm just like, well, and then my niece is a junior, and I'm trying to convince her, and I'm just getting nowhere with her. So
she don't want to go to the school up north, does she?
No.
Okay,
I highly doubt it.
As long as kids aren't choosing that school, I don't care where they pursue their academics.
I think I would disown her, but she's an honor student, AP student, so hopefully she'll be able to go where she wants.
Well,
and that's a great thing. So, man, I missed you. We've the past two shows we talked about the schedule game. So we're gonna talk a little football with you, unless you want to start that off first. But we got some football topics.
Yeah.
Let's hit basketball
quick. We got to talk basketball because the story right now is these playing games.
Yeah.
And I know last night I got to watch a couple of those playing games. And so far, they've all kind of gone true to what we thought was going to happen.
Yeah.
If they continue to go, and to be honest with you, there wasn't much drama so far with the playing games. I don't think the format they have is a great format for it. But tonight, all eyes are on LeBron and Steph. And people are really keyed up for this game. And it doesn't feel like a playing game to see who's going to be the last seed in the playoffs. It feels like two of the best teams in the West Coast. And really, they are two of the best people in the West. These teams got off to slow starts and had injuries that kept them from being higher seeds. But make no mistake about it, whichever team gets into the playoffs out of these two teams is going to make a run in the playoffs.
Yeah, and then LeBron is this is legacy time for him, so they have no choice but to
every time legacy time.
There
is no more legacy time for LeBron.
He has to get more rings. No,
he doesn't.
He has to get more rings.
Legacy is
because there's always the people who want to fight for Jordan. They always bring up the rings as an equalizer. I don't believe if that's the only thing.
The legacy is
I look at the stuff that he does off of the court as well too. But if these endless debates about who is better, I think it's always going to be Jordan versus LeBron. But the trump card for people usually is always the titles.
But here's my thing. I don't even care about that debate anymore. It's Jordan, LeBron, and everybody else. And I'm cool with that. What it's not going to be is Jordan, LeBron, Curry. That's not going to be the debate.
Yeah.
It is Jordan, LeBron. Maybe somebody throws in Kobe every now and then. Maybe somebody throws in like a Kareem every now and then, or a Wilt Chamberlain or something like that. They'll make that kind of argument. But it's always my MJ, LeBron, and then everybody else in the distance. Mm-hmm. That legacy is cemented to me. When you talk about LeBron and legacy at this point, it's like, what are we really saying? Like, it's a marketing thing. I feel like that's a marketing thing to put emphasis on. Now, what I will say is this. LeBron doesn't have a lot of tread left on the tire. He won't play that many more years. So the way I look at it is I want to see him play as much basketball as I can until he's gone. He's going to play maybe another 4 or 5 years, maybe.
I think till 40.
Yeah, he'll play in that range.
Do you think he might try to go past 40 and possibly do 42?
Potentially.
Because he takes care of his body amazingly. So that's one of the things that, like Tom Brady, I kind of look at other athletes are looking to Tom Brady for the gold standard.
Yeah.
And that's how long they want to play for.
Well, I think LeBron, if his son gets in, that's going to make a big difference with how long he decides to stay in. But LeBron, first of all, is so freakish, too. Like Brady in this way, we've never seen anybody conditioned like these guys. Quarterbacks didn't used to be conditioned like Tom Brady. Power forwards used to look like Karl Malone at LeBron's age, who was a brick, guy. He was solid, but he was also kind of bigger, and he got kind of slower, and he didn't jump as much anymore. LeBron is a freak, and he is the new standard for how athletes train. So LeBron could theoretically play for a long time. I kept thinking by now, LeBron was going to be a back to the basket, play like the old man at the Y now. He wouldn't be able to jump at this point in his career. Knees would be shot. Like, you kind of think he's going to be that. You kind of thought maybe this is where he'd be now. He's still one of the most athletic guys in the league.
Yeah.
So
head is getting above the rim still.
Right.
At times it don't.
High above the rim.
Yeah. Sometimes it wasn't, but now it does. Like, I don't know if LA was just a lease on life, but I think he spends over $1 million taking care of his body to ensure.
And it shows.
Yeah, and he has the best of everything. So I don't see him stopping. You know, I see
I
him
don't
playing
either.
into his 40s. And I think LeBron will give it up when he sees himself possibly tailing off a little bit. I think that's when he might, go ahead and say it might be time.
Right.
But I still think that he's going to retire as a Cleveland Cavalier.
I do too.
I think
he will come back. I mean, if they brought Andy back, they're gonna bring LeBron back.
Yeah,
for sure. So I feel like tonight though, my money is always on LeBron.
Yeah, me too.
In one of these games, and Steph has had a phenomenal run this season. There's no taking away what Steph has done. He's had a great run. The Lakers though are built. They're a playoff team. Mm-hmm. They're built to be in the playoffs. And I really feel like they're still, to me, that's still the team to beat in the West. There's a lot of good teams out there, but I still feel like the Lakers are the team to beat in the West.
Yeah, because if the Lakers, go past it. So either team, they can lose tonight and still have a chance at playing in the playoffs.
It's almost like a round robin.
Yeah, which is the weirdest thing. So that's the good thing. I do think that the Lakers will prevail. Obviously they'll go ahead and play with Phoenix, but like you said about having a roster built for the playoffs, this is when they miss Clay. Clay is that equalizer for that team. Draymond and Steph can only do so much against a roster like the Lakers. So I don't foresee them being able to move past it. I think it'll be an exciting game. I think it'll be a great game. It might even be a close game.
Dude, how about Indiana last night throwing up 145 points or whatever?
Man, that's defense optional.
We and just then 111 on the losing side. Nobody showed up for that game.
That was crazy.
Just shoot it. But these playing games, what do you think about the format for it? Like, to me, I feel like there's some drama missing when you can lose a game and come back and play. If you're going to have a playing game, just have it be the 8 and 9 seed playing for the 8th spot or whatever. To have 4 teams coming in and trying to get in for 7. I mean, I don't know. I'm not into that. I didn't think there was anything wrong with the NBA playoff format the way it was.
No, but I kind of like having a wild card.
I guess.
The NFL has one. The Major League Baseball has a wild card. Time for
I don't know that
basketball.
I like that, and I don't like the Major League Baseball. I don't like that either. I don't like it when my team expand the playoffs if you want.
Yeah.
But don't make it a 1-game playoff to get in. I don't think that's as exciting as they think it's going to be. Tell me the last great wild card playing game that you watched for Major League Baseball. Can you name one that stands out? You're like, oh my gosh, that was a great. You can't. There's not one. It's not like a game 7 of an NBA Finals that you can name 5 of them. You know what I mean? It's not. There's been great wild card NFL games, but all of the games in the NFL are 1 game and out. When you have series, like playoff series, like you do in baseball and basketball, a 1 or 2 game play-in doesn't match the format. It just doesn't make sense to me.
I think what will end up happening, though, is these are just the natural steps to the progression of expanding the playoffs.
I don't know if they will. I think this is what they do instead of expanding the playoffs.
But they might.
I don't know. And I don't want to expand it, but half the teams in the league make the playoffs already. How many teams need to make the playoffs for you to feel good about yourself?
That is very true.
We don't need half. There's a reason that not everybody gets in the playoffs.
Yeah, because then you have a diluted product as well.
And it's what happened in the East for years.
Yeah.
When the East was so bad and you had the Atlanta Hawks making the playoffs with, 28 wins or whatever. Mm-hmm. Like it just gets to a point where it's so diluted and watered down. Those aren't playoff teams. And the 8th seed never beats the 1 seed. So what's the point?
The Dallas Mavericks would beg to differ.
Well, yeah, I know.
Or Golden State.
Golden State.
Yeah, Golden State would beg to differ.
But so if we expand, you think the 10 seed is going to beat the 1 seed?
No,
That's the recipe?
Yeah.
We need to get that 10 seed in?
I don't think so. And you make a great point there.
Yeah, I think it's too much.
I don't think so. But who you got winning it all? I mean, we're nowhere near there yet, but
I know.
Do you think that the Lakers can get past all these teams on the way to?
I don't. Out of the West doesn't really scare me that much.
Okay.
Like your Utahs and your Phoenix, and they're good teams, but I don't think LeBron looks at them and shakes.
Yeah,
the only one, the team that's scary in the league is the Nets, and they're playing really well together.
Yeah,
now. They figured it out. They got everybody healthy. They're enjoying themselves playing together. I feel like that's the only team that can say, if LeBron wants to win, LeBron wins. That's just the way that goes. If LeBron decides he wants to win a game, LeBron wins the game. And that's just what happens. So I don't know, man. I don't see anybody. I don't see anybody out of the West beating the Lakers if they get on a streak. If they're healthy, if there's no injuries, I don't see any of those Western Conference teams.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a.
But what about you? What's your take? You can't just throw me out there.
Well, I was going to go to.
Who you hitching your wagon to?
I want to see the Lakers versus the Nets and the finals.
I do too.
I think that'd be a great finals. Probably the Brooklyn Nets might prevail, possibly.
I don't want them to.
I don't either. I want LeBron to get his rings now. That's just how I know I'm truly over him leaving. Like I said,
right.
when that first, the first time, absolutely
we broke
not.
up, and now I just want to see him happy.
Yeah, I want the best. I want nothing but the best for him at this point.
That's very mature, Rachel. That's a very mature stance after a bad breakup.
Yeah, I want you to have the best future in life and the rest of your endeavors, and all of your endeavors. That's where I'm at right now. Like, I just want him to win and get these rings. And it's mainly because he's from Cleveland. You always want people from Cleveland to be successful. Right. So that's what I want for him, to collect as many rings as possible now.
Well, we got to take a break, but when we come back, I know we're going to talk about a team that's not in the playoffs, and that is the Cleveland Cavaliers.
Yeah.
And there's been some interesting talk. We'll talk a little bit about the Cavaliers season and more when we come back on Her in the Huddle with the First Lady of Sports, Rachel Hill. To Chris,
This is Safety Director Carrie E. Howard of Cleveland's Department of Public Safety. Are you passionate about serving our community? If so, consider
Cleveland,
applying
Atkinson
today
metropolitan
for a
area.
career.
I know he won't, but I can say that on the show.
Young and motivated individuals, representative of the people, to join our safety forces. The Division of Police offers a rewarding career, a competitive salary with exceptional benefits and job security. Applications are being taken now. Go to governmentjobs.com/careers/Cleveland. I encourage you to apply today.
This message is brought to you by the City of Cleveland and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Car community radio station.
Grandma, I really need to use your computer.
Okay, but first I have to check my Facebook.
Okay.
You know how to use it?
Okay.
Of course I know
I see
how.
what we're doing.
I took classes at the Thea Bowman Center. What do you want the computer for anyway?
Okay. All right, white boy summer. White boy summer.
I knew you would look well.
Doggone right.
Yeah.
As soon as I get this beard back.
Listen, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to, but I said,
those are sweet.
I said, why these phones taking so long?
I accidentally used the wrong guard on my trimmer.
I can't wait to get started.
See, I can't wait to see you get started.
This
That
message
shirt
is
is
brought
sweet.
to you by
I
the
like
Thea
that color.
Bowman Center and
Cavaliers color.
WOVU
All right.
95.9 FM. Our Voices
played it.
United, a Burton Bell Car
Another
community
commercial?
radio station.
Yeah.
Hear ye,
Dude,
hear
I'm
ye.
excited,
Get your
Chris.
COVID-19
We got a date
vaccination
yet, or you still
over
waiting?
here.
It'll be July, probably July 2nd.
The Metro Health System, the Cuyahoga County
Okay.
Board of Health, and East Cleveland
Next
City
year.
Schools are bringing the
Oh, next year.
COVID-19 vaccine
Yeah, I
to
thought.
you Wednesday, May 19th, from 2 to 6 p.m. at Shaw High School, 15320 Euclid Avenue, on the number 2837 and number 41 bus line, and free parking at Shaw High School.
Really?
Visit
I'm telling you straight up.
metrohealth.org/COVID-19/vaccine to register, or you can call 216-778-6100.
They like sex and better than garlic?
216-778-6100. Walk-ins are also welcome at the free COVID vaccination event Wednesday, May 19th, 2 to 6 p.m. at Shaw High School in East Cleveland.
Right.
This message is brought to you by East Cleveland City Schools, the Cuyahoga County Board of Health, Metro Health System,
You
and
think he's that
WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices
high
United,
is
a Burton
probably-
Bell Car
Yeah,
community
yeah.
radio station.
Right.
Dude, how do I get these headphones to work? How can I get them?
It's not working.
WOVU listeners,
Turn them three.
did you know
Three.
you
Is
can
it
call
three?
us during any live show?
Oh, that's-
Or did you know you can ask
Try three.
questions
Oh, there
or
we
hear
go.
comments live on the
I
air?
didn't know that was
If
But
you
yeah,
didn't
so,
know,
but that's
Now
inside
you
school.
know.
Sexton's
Call the
great. Sexton's third
WOVU
year.
request
Like,
line
he should
at
be 21271.
216-271-0959.
Yeah.
He's
Your
too selfish.
voice is
No,
our
no,
request.
I'm
No
passing the
one
ball.
says it like you.
So why Darius got an issue with him?
216
Because there's not enough room. There's not enough room for both of them. They play the same
Questions,
position.
comments,
Yeah,
complaints.
they play
We
the
want
same
all that
type of
and
ball.
the kitchen sink.
Well,
This is WOVU, our voices
Yeah.
united. We can't do it without you. Call on through.
All right.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the first lady.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle on WOVU and 95.9 FM. This is Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here in studio. You can always give us a call at 216-271-0959. You can listen to us online at WOVU.org. And always remember that you can download that WOVU app and take us on the go wherever you want and listen to your favorite personalities all the time. And I am here with Sugar Booger, the face of the franchise.
Yes,
What's
yes.
up, Sugar Booger?
I'm glad to be here, man. We're getting ready to talk about those Cleveland Cavaliers.
Happy to have you.
Well, I'm glad to be here. I wish
welcome
we had
back.
better things to talk about when it comes to the Cavaliers.
Well, this is going to be short.
But, well, they've got some things going on. Obviously, they're looking to sign Jared Allen to a longer contract. I like that move. I think he's a good ball player, and I think he likes playing here. They're talking about what they're going to do with Colin Sexton, and I think a lot of dominoes will fall after that, and we'll find out a lot more about what direction the Cavs go in based on what happens with Sexton. But it was interesting this week when Gilbert said that they are going to reevaluate Kobe Altman.
Yeah, and
take a look at him.
Usually when he says something like that, that person is on the chopping block. But this is somebody that he handpicked. And let's be real, there's no roster here. You have a young roster that is showing signs of growth. But be honest, you knew that we weren't going to win anything. So why are you trying to fake the funk at this point?
The thing about the way the NBA is set up is you get these young players, and that window to make it happen with them is so short. You have such a brief window, and the Cavs do have a lot of great young players, but you only have a couple seasons to make it happen with them, and they're going somewhere else for the money. It's going to happen. So the Cavs being a small market team, it's just one of those positions where Kobe Altman was kind of in a no-win situation. I don't know. You're right. Like, what did you
Literally no win.
Right. He won 20. And how about Kevin Love just playing good for enough games to screw us out of a higher lottery pick? Like, come on, bro.
Yeah, so we were 14. We had 14% chance of landing the number one pick. Mm-hmm. Kevin Love gets out there when the last game of the season. Out. I guess maybe he wanted to show up Tristan or something like that and scores 30 points. Right. And then we did down to 5% of a chance to get the first. So it's like, are you intentionally trying to sabotage us by your play?
Kevin Love is, he's Cleveland's sweetheart. He's, the poster child for mental health, and everybody just has this all shucks attitude with Kevin Love. But Kevin Love has done some things to this organization that have put them in a very bad situation, and nobody ever calls him out. If Kyrie Irving did that, people would be saying he's a cancer, he's egomaniac, he's all about himself first. He's great. Like, people would be all over him. Kevin Love does it. It's good for Kevin Love. He got out there and played good at the end of the season. Good for him. He's feeling better. Like, come on, man. He did. I don't know that he did it on purpose to sabotage the team. That's pretty deep. But I think it's ironic that he waited until that game to show out and play like he wanted to be there for once.
And that is the thing.
Very hard to watch. I don't know where they go next year. What do you if you only get to keep one of these guys to be your building block, is it Sexton or is it Garland?
Man, it's tough because Sexton is just a scoring machine.
He's a beast. And
Darius has been hurt. It's not the first time he's been hurt. He was hurt leaving college and didn't play a year and still managed to get drafted. So that means that he's good. But can Darius stay healthy? That is the question. So I'm going to take Collin, who is durable. Has he missed a game yet? I don't think he's missed a game.
He
has missed some.
I don't know.
Just
I don't know
recently.
that.
Yeah, just recently he missed some. Because remember when Isaac Okoro was going off? That's because
Yes,
Colin was not
you're
here.
right. You're right.
But he hasn't missed time over 3 years.
Yeah.
So I'm looking for durability.
Yeah.
And I think with that, that's going to be Colin for me.
In the NBA, if you're going to make a run, you have to have a top 5 draft pick, and they have to be special. You have to get it right, and you have to be able to build around it. That is the only way a small market team has a chance.
Mid market.
And well, they're all small.
Mid
markets.
market.
We're a small market.
We're mid.
Nah, we're a small. Not in the NBA. We're a small market NBA.
No, we are not.
We are.
We're mid. We're mid.
Cleveland is like a
small market is like Oklahoma City.
Cleveland has dropped off the face of the earth in market size.
We have all 3 sports teams.
There was a time, yeah, but that doesn't make you a major market. That just means you had 3 sports teams when you were a mid-market. We are no longer a mid-market. We were at one point. If you look at the media, we were a top 12 media market.
We're not Detroit.
For radio and TV. Now we're dropped down to more like a top 30 media market.
We used to be 18. We dropped down that much?
Yeah, it's pretty low. We dropped pretty far down.
We're not Detroit.
There's a lot of cities that have come up, though. I mean, there's a lot of cities, like, for example, a Charlotte that used to be a small market. Charlotte is making a run.
You been to Charlotte?
I love Charlotte.
That's all right.
I love Charlotte.
Oh, I guess all right.
I like Charlotte. Charlotte is one of the places I would consider moving to if they wanted to have me and I could get rich and move.
Okay.
That would be one of them. But when you get back to the Cavs, they're just one of they are the story of the NBA. And this is the way the NBA goes, is you're one of these smaller middle market, whatever you want to call it, teams. You have to get so many things to go your way to get it right. And the Cavs did that, and they got LeBron, and then they got LeBron again, and then they got Kyrie. They used up all of their fortune in that 10-year period.
Yeah, the basketball
guy
guy was like,
right.
I'm giving you 3 number 1 picks in 4 years.
And they
I've
only
done
got
enough.
1 ring out of all that. That's the disappointing
Yeah, but they
part.
came up against a literal
Super
dynasty,
Yeah.
and which the timing was off,
Mhm.
and that was the thing. Things
Yeah.
are about timing.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. But now it's like, how long are we going to have to pay for that? Like, now we wallow in the mire. Like, now we had our run, and now our comeuppance is that we are in this NBA wasteland where you just have to pray that somebody drops scraps your way and you get on.
It's like we're waiting for another once in a generation player to be born.
Right. Yeah, he might not even be alive.
Exactly.
That player might
he's
not
just
even
sitting, chilling in an ovary right now.
Like, I talk to Chris Styles
and
everything all
everything.
the time. Like, Chris Styles knows the ins and outs of all these players that are in the draft. He knows all the college players and everything. I don't see any players in the last couple of years that are going to be generational. I don't know. I don't think that next great player is even in the league. There is nobody playing right now that I see as a Kobe, a Michael, a LeBron. Usually they kind of overlap.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's nobody coming up right now that I go, he's the guy. There's a couple that I think, like the Greek Freak for a minute, looked like he might be that generational. I kind of don't see it that way. I just kind of don't see him being that guy. And you could say Harden, but he's been in for a while, and what's he going to do? And they thought it was Durant, but Durant's really not that guy. He's great, but he's not
He always
that
needs a
guy.
supporting cast.
Got it right. Everybody needs a whole team around him. It's changed so much. Maybe that's why we don't see it. Maybe there is a really great player, but they're always going to be surrounded by somebody. I don't think so.
LeBron is just special.
Yeah,
and
it's different.
That Jordan-esque, and
Yeah.
Jordan was that generational player.
Right.
I'm just not seeing that.
And even Kobe in the transition between those two. So you went from Jordan, and Kobe came in, and he was that guy, and then LeBron was that guy. But now there's nobody even as a transition. I don't see anybody that's even close to that. Now, with that being said, I feel like the NBA has a lot of really good teams. And there was a while where the NBA didn't have a lot of good teams. They had a couple at the top and then not a whole lot after that. I feel like the NBA is a little more spread out. Now, there's more teams that I really, when you look at a Phoenix, when you look at a Utah, when you look at Indiana playing well, things like that, there are some really good teams. But the Cavs are not one of them.
No, and they will not be for a long time. And it's going to be sad. And, but some people are excited, saying that they have a young core that could possibly do some things. And with some drafting and maneuvering, you never know.
Listen, there's some drafting maneuvering. They're going to have to.
Ain't that much maneuvering in the
They're going to have
world.
to call up Pedro Serrano from Major League and boil a chicken leg. Like, you're going to need a whole lot to go right for them. So, listen, it's almost time for another break again. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little Tribe. Tribe won last night. Looks like, if they're going to make a run, now's the time to make a run. But it's a long season. Is it time to get worried about them yet, Rachel? I don't know. Let's talk about it on the other side of the break, right here on Her in the Huddle, WOVU 95.9 FM.
With the training you'll need to get a great
You know
job.
what? I stopped
You or
watching
your
the Tribe,
family has experienced financial
and all of a sudden, they won first place.
TriC can help with full tuition assistance. Whether you want to improve your skills, get certified, or train for a new career,
From where?
go to Tri-C.
Oh, I saw your post about that.
Programs and resources. So, what are you waiting for? Register now for online and on-campus summer classes.
Yeah?
TriC is where futures begin.
This message is
How big
brought
is that?
to
He
you
looks
by
big.
TriC and
He
WOVU
looks
Which
like
we
he's
know.
pretty stocky.
95.9
Which we know.
Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Carr community radio station.
Kale chips.
WOVU 95.9 FM.
I wish we
and
hadn't told
the
Zach
Cuyahoga
Wilson
County Board of Health
congratulations.
wants you to do your part and help all of us stay safe.
Because
from the
he
spread of
Trumper and his
COVID-19.
mother Trumper,
Be best
and she
protection
had made
against
some controversial
COVID-19.
videos.
Wear a
Oh,
mask.
really?
Yeah.
Stay 6 feet apart from
His
others.
mama.
Wash your hands
Sound
often
like him.
and get the vaccine when you are
How do
able.
we know he
To
feels
learn
that
more
way? Is he
information
He's from
about the
Utah.
COVID-19
don't like
vaccine
it.
and how to register
Huh?
when it's your turn, visit
I
the
love you,
Cuyahoga
actually.
County Board of Health website at ccbh.net. That's ccbh.net. Do
I had
your
a
part
great
because
text
we're
with you
all
for the
in
first
this
time in my
together.
life.
This
I
message
had
is
a
brought
good
to you by the
text.
Cuyahoga County Board of Health and WOVU 95.9 FM.
Donnie,
You are
great. Donnie, give me that money, Donnie.
I know, right? Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right, welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU at 95.9 FM. And this is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports. And I am here with the face of the franchise, Sugar Booger.
Woo!
Thank you for bringing us in. And now I don't have my notes in front of me right now.
Well, we're going to the Indians, Rachel.
Yeah.
Now, here's my thing with the Indians. And I've been here in a couple weeks to talk with you about this. So, as you know, baseball is never my favorite sport, but I keep up with it.
Hater.
So I stopped watching the Indians because they were terrible. And I wasn't paying attention. And all of a sudden, I wake up one day and I'm like looking on Bleacher Report, and I'm like, wait a second, the Indians are in first place. How did this happen?
It was very brief.
Very brief. And then they went on a slide, but now they're in Anaheim, and Los Angeles doesn't have much going on right now. I feel like they could make a little run again and come back up. I feel like this is a series they can sweep. First West Coast swing of the year is always tough on the Tribe. So you just hope that they can maintain pace. But have you figured this team out yet?
No, because we are showing some chinks in the armor.
Yeah.
So they did lose the Angels that first game. So remember they lost four games in a row. So a sweep is not going to happen. And
they tried to lose last night. They jumped out to a nice lead, and they tried their best to give that one away.
God, I'm just like, man, and it was so crazy because I'm like, I got home a little bit late because I saw you out at the academy, and I got home a little late, and they was already up 5 runs, and I'm like, what inning is this?
Yeah, they got out the gates fast.
Yeah, which had been done to them, and that's the thing when teams get out the gate quickly on the Indians. Unfortunately, the Indians don't have the hitting power to get back close, and that's what happened in Seattle. They had a great first game, they won, but then what happened was they got hit early and fast, and the offense couldn't get up out of that hole.
Seattle is a good team. I mean, Seattle is a good ball team.
And they are all right. They ain't
they're solid.
Yeah, they're Midland though in the AL West.
Yeah.
But that series was totally, winnable.
Yeah.
But that's part of the problem. And then offense, and then also the Indians have defensive problems. They're one of the worst defensive teams in baseball. They're one of the worst batting teams at baseball. They're second to last in all of baseball team batting average. So that's never going to do you any favors. But also when your defense is terrible as well, because and one of the things is Natalie Turk, she talks about the platooning of the players.
Yep.
And that's so tough. Now, they're trying to figure out because they might bring up Ryan Miller from AAA, and they have to figure out what they're going to do. Now they have Vu Chang. They might send Vu Chang back down. Vu Chang hit a home run.
Vu Chang clan ain't nothing to mess with.
But Vu Chang hit a home run, and now the Jake Bowers experiment might be done, and they might, designate him for assignment as well.
As they were talking about him at the beginning of the season, I was never sold on Bowers. Yeah. Anyways, he never was a guy. How about real quick? Speaking of amazing people, how about Ohtani?
Yeah, I know.
He hit another home run last night, which was great. Like I'm really enjoying that story of watching what he's doing out there.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing. So he pitches tonight. So we gonna see what that arm do.
So he's there tonight, and after tonight's game, then they go for a weekend series at Minnesota. Or actually, I think they're home against Minnesota.
They're home.
And then they head up to Detroit for a series, and then they come back for the Blue Jays and White Sox. So they get a little reprieve from the travel over the next couple of weeks, which is good. But when I look at that next slate of games, the Twins are always tough. The Tigers, they should be able to take care of. Blue Jays, they ought to be able to take care of. And then the White Sox always play them tough. But over the slate that you've got coming up over the next couple of weeks, the schedule is favorable. If they get their heads wrapped around it, they should be able to at least hold court and stay in that first or second spot. At the end of the season, is the Tribe a playoff team? Do they make a wild card, do you think? I know a lot of people were saying that beginning of the season. I wasn't a believer that they were, but now I kind of see that maybe they stick around.
I think they're a wild card team. I think they're overachieving, which is good. I don't think people predicted that they were going to be in this position. I mean, they very briefly led the AL Central, but it's a very long season. But the potential is there. Yeah. One thing is your pitching has to hold up. And right now the starters have been getting rocked.
Right.
And Zach Plesac, they've been no-no'd twice in 1 month. Oh. So also the Seattle Mariners share that designation as well. We've had 5 no-nos in a year in the beginning of the season already. And I think the most was 8. Right. And we're not even 2 full months into the season. So that's kind of crazy. But this started pitching, even Shane Bieber hasn't looked sharp, but that's the past couple games, he's thrown over 100 pitches, which is, kind of rare. They get him out normally, around the 80 pitch mark, but he's been doing over 100 pitches. So is he tired? So that's your young Gates. So, what happens next? Tristan McKenzie, I got a chance to write a story for MLBBro.com. And what that is that's a new website in which we feature articles and content regarding the Black players in baseball. Cool. And it's only 70 out of 300 something.
Well, that's something we need to talk about. Yeah, Tristan McKenzie and Justice Sheffield going against each other on Saturday. 2 Black pitchers. What did that mean to you as you were watching that?
It meant a lot to me because it's a very rare event. Right. And I was able to find an article in which 2 pitchers played against 2 Black pitchers faced off against each other in Pittsburgh 2 years ago, but I hadn't found any since then, and I couldn't find before then. So I did not get a chance to ask Tristan McKenzie about that or Tito, but it means a lot. Yeah. Baseball still has such a far way to go, but we're talking about something that takes years to take place. It's sad as well. So I hope they realize that moment, and you just hope that there's some little Black boys who are watching that game who say, hey, I can be doing this one day too.
As somebody, now I'm not a little Black boy, I'm a little white boy, but this little white boy never liked playing baseball. It just wasn't my sport. Yeah. So I kind of get not wanting to play baseball. I was basketball was more exciting. I thought football was more exciting. Baseball just wasn't my thing. Yeah. So I don't know how you make baseball sexy. I mean, my thing is I know that it's visually in front of you. You can see that there aren't a lot of Black American athletes playing baseball, But I don't see kids playing baseball in general. Baseball has a racial identity problem, but they've also got a problem with just getting a generation to care. So it's there's two elements to that. And I don't know how baseball fixes that. I don't know what they do to fix it. You know, when you go back and you look in the early 20th century, rugby was a super popular game to play. Lacrosse was super popular. Jim Brown went to college to play lacrosse, not football. Football wasn't as big. And then generationally, football became a thing. In the 40s, 50s, 60s, it came up. I'm wondering if baseball is just kind of going to fade out and you're going to see it replaced. You know, for a long time, soccer was the sport that everybody said was going to take over the country. Like soccer is going to be the sport. And soccer kind of plateaued and went back down a little bit to me. I think I really thought soccer was coming up. Like, you better start paying attention. And then it kind of plateaued and you don't see
maybe
it
because our
growing as
national
much.
team sucked, so they're not
Very good
visible.
point.
They haven't made the World Cup, and
Yeah.
I think they didn't make.
That's a great point.
Yeah, I mean, I think maybe the popularity has been there among girls, but not boys, because
I
our
agree.
women's team is
That's a
really
great
good, but
point.
our men's team is terrible.
And
So
I think obviously the Hispanic population in the United States is growing so fast that I think people naturally assumed that was going to lead to soccer being more popular here. But I don't see it as mainstream as people
football
thought,
is king, man.
Football is king and it's. But here's the thing with football, with the concussions and everything, less and less kids are being encouraged to play. Now, youth leagues are pretty strong right now for football, at least around here. There's a lot of youth leagues that are doing really good stuff. Shouts out to the Ville City Raiders. They named the football team the Ville City Raiders after me and my Ville City clothing company. So I was really excited about that. They named our city's football program after my thing. So I'm excited about that prospect. But you're seeing less and less parents pushing their kids to play football too. So it is now, but I wonder what that's going to look like a generation from now. You know, baseball a generation from now. What's that going to look like when kids that are 3, 4, and 5 today are in high school and college? Are they going to care about, 15 years from now? Are they going to care about baseball? Baseball's got an issue, and you can tell it when baseball comes on TV. Look at the stands. And I know that there are limited seating. That's true too. With COVID, you've got limited seating, but we're about to not have limited seating. That first weekend that the Tribe plays with no rules, they're going to sell out. It's going to be crazy. People want to get to the ballpark. By the end of the season, though, you've got a first place team that's probably not going to be selling out. They can be first or second place. They're not going to sell out their games.
Yeah, which is crazy. And then, you have the talk of, will this team move and relocate when the lease is over? There's even talk about the Browns relocating when the lease is over. Everything is a mess. Everybody's a mess, and I'm over it.
Well, sports is becoming a business that's transient. And fans have a tremendous loyalty to teams, but teams do not have a tremendous loyalty to fans. Nope. Unless you're the Green Bay Packers, where your fans own the team. Yeah. You don't get it anywhere else.
That's where we need to get to that.
And I that's what kills me about fans being so upset about Chief Wahoo, and they're going to get rid, and they're so upset about that, but they don't even support the team when they're in first or second place. They don't even go to the games. So what are you mad about that they want to change that logo? And I'll tell you what, it's a lot easier for them to move when that logo is changed and they're not moving a Native American racist logo out. It's a lot more marketable to move that team when they don't have that association. So I just feel like everything they've done sets them up for a move. And that stadium needs to be redone. It's an older stadium now. It's crazy.
It's open in 94.
It's crazy, though. It's one of the oldest stadiums in the league now.
Well, they're not going to pass no money to, and they just revamped it though. You don't like the renovations?
Nice, I like the renovations. That's nice, but when you're a ball club, that's not enough.
There ain't no money.
It increased the fan experience, and the fans didn't go anyway.
Yeah, but there ain't no money to do nothing.
No, there's not.
And I don't think that you can keep on passing levies. This is one of the poorest cities in the country. The taxpayers are only going to do so much, and they still get money from the sin tax and all that other stuff.
They get tired of, and you know what makes it hard for that stadium, especially even more than the Browns, is You go right down Woodland, right down the road, and you're at the projects, right around the corner from that stadium where they're doing all that nice stuff. And then you've got economic despair that you can see down the road.
Mm-hmm.
So, it's hard to convince people that that's where the money should be allocated when
exactly.
there's people in the neighborhood that don't have any money. It's
Right.
hard.
Absolutely.
So I think that they made the mistake when they built the stadiums and the arenas to not have them all together. To not have a domed football stadium was a mistake. And they just did some things that didn't make sense. And now the city is going to end up paying for it. I doubt that the Browns leave. I don't know. We've said that before, obviously. But I doubt that. I think the Browns will get something worked out. I don't know that the Indians will.
The new football site is on the old site, right?
Right next to it.
Okay.
Yeah, right next to it.
Okay.
And now, when you see what the Browns just released with that renovation project that they're talking about on the waterfront, and the Browns working with the city to renovate that waterfront, maybe redo a stadium down there, that's amazing.
Yeah.
And if they can make that happen, then the Browns can make money from things outside of football. Maybe you get that to pop. Maybe the city does invest in the stadium if it's part of
But
that
how do
project.
Browns need to make money when Jimmy Haslam is billionaire?
Well, because that ain't the Browns' money. That ain't the Browns' money. That you still got it. He didn't get there by only making money off some of his projects. He got there because he makes money. He's not opening up going, I'm gonna open this one up for charity. I don't need to make money off them Browns. I got a gas station. We'll just do this one for fun.
I'm like, come on, man, just build it on your own. You can totally do it, man. Just do it. You don't need us, man.
Oh man,
you don't need us.
You're exactly right. He don't.
Yeah, so we about to go into this last break. You are
Yeah.
listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU 95.9 FM. We will be right back.
Yes.
Hello, Cleveland.
I got a
This
fun
is Safety
story.
Director
Short.
Carrie D.
Okay,
Howard
I'm a
from
short in
Cleveland's
my
Department
things.
of
My
Public
things be
Safety.
going up.
Are you passionate
does it?
about serving
Yeah.
our community?
Oh, pull it.
If so,
pull the
consider
thing about
applying
halfway
today
out.
for a career in public
I'm
safety.
listening, you have
We are
no
seeking a
TV.
diverse group of young
Like,
and
play with
motivated
it a little bit.
individuals
You might pull it out a little
representative of the people to join our safety forces. The Division of Police offers a rewarding career, a competitive salary with exceptional benefits and job security. Applications are being taken now. Go to governmentjobs.com/careers/Cleveland. I encourage you to apply today.
This message is brought to you by the City of Cleveland and WOVU 95.9 FM. Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Car community radio station.
Grandma, I really need to use your computer.
Okay, but first I have to check my Facebook.
Facebook? You know how to use it?
Of course I know how. I took classes at the Thea Bowman Center. What do you want the computer for anyways?
I finally decided to get my GED. I just need some help.
I'm so happy to hear that. Well, Thea Bowman Center does that too. You can get your GED online or in person. Let me help you get registered. Log on to theabowmancenter.org or call 216-491-0699.
Thank you. I can't wait to get started.
Me, I can't wait to see you get started.
This message is brought to you by the Thea Bowman Center and WOVU 95.9 FM, Our Voices United, a Burton Bell Car community radio station.
Welcome back to Her in the Huddle with Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports.
All right. Welcome back to Her in the Huddle, WOVU, a 95.9 FM. This is your girl, Rachel Hill, the First Lady of Sports, and I am here with the face of the franchise. He's back in the building, back in the house, my partner in crime, Sugar Booger. What's up, man?
Man, I am very excited to be here. And we were talking a little bit. One of the topics you want to talk about is this young man, Wontarius Bryant. Wontarius is an Austin P guy from Austin P College. And he got a text from somebody in an Atlanta area code that said, why don't you come on down and try out for the Atlanta Hawks? We want you to come down and try out. He got a text message. He arrived in Flowery Branch, Georgia, where their facility is. And they were like, bro, we don't have you on the list. Like, I don't know who told you this. very embarrassing, but it reminds me. I had a friend that was a high school football coach at one of the area's more prominent private schools here, and he was a very excitable guy that all he would talk about is football. So I pranked him one day and called him and told him that I was a reporter from ESPN and that we were going to feature him on College Game Day. And I told him to meet me at a restaurant and I was going to interview him. And he told all of his friends, he called his parents, he told the staff at the school. I didn't think it was going to go that far. So I felt really horrible, but also very fortunate that he did not kill me because he was a man mountain and he should have probably beat me up and thrown me in the trunk of his car. I say that to say it was horribly mean. I was
how old were you?
25, 26, probably. I was young and dumb. But I say that to say that Juantarius here was calling his friends and his family and his coaching staff and saying, I'm going to that they want me, man. I didn't get drafted, but I told you I was going to do it. I bet you he was on his Twitter, like hashtag God over everything, hashtag won't he do it. His mom was like, hashtag that's my baby. And then he gets all the way down there. I can see him. He gets down there. He's got his workout bag. He didn't spend the night at a hotel the night before. And he woke up at 6, probably did some push-ups, ate a yogurt parfait in the hotel lobby. He got there with his bag in tow. He never felt butterflies in his stomach. A little nervous, but confident. And hello, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Juantarius Bryant here for my tryout. Juan who? She's like, Juantarius. Do we know anything about a Juan Torito? We got a Juan Town out here. He said he's got a tryout. And they just had to say, Juan, bro. It's like trying to get into the VIP at the club. And they're like, you're not on the list. You ever been to Will Call where you're supposed to have tickets for an event or something and they don't have your tickets?
Fortunately, no.
Oh, it's embarrassing.
Fortunately, no.
There is nothing more embarrassing than going to Will Call and you're like, yeah, I'm supposed to have 2 tickets for the game tonight. I'm with so-and-so. And they're like, we don't have you on the list. I don't know what to tell you. We don't have you. Juantarius went for a tryout, Rachel. Can you imagine anything worse?
Well, what about Damon Giuseppe?
What did he do again?
He said that Alonzo Highsmith told him to come try out. Remember?
Oh, that he just showed up. I remember that.
Yeah.
And he just showed up and walked in. This kid should have hit him up.
Well, it took a little bit more than that, but he kind of did the same thing. So people are doubting if that actually occurred.
So now they're thinking this kid made up the story?
Yeah.
And he was just trying it?
Because they was like, usually your agents are always going to set those up for you. Right. Everything goes through your agent and they fly you out there. I don't know. I have to research that a little bit more. I know, right? Yeah, probably not. But yeah, because some people act as their own agents. So, I just felt bad, especially, if he put out that money and stuff like that. But sometimes when you got a dream, if it happened the way he said it happened, it sucks.
Do we have a Juan Tony and Brian on the list? Honey, I don't have you on the list. I'm looking at the list, honey. You ain't on there.
Ooh, man. You show up at a facility.
Sir, can you put your mask on, sir? You look angry.
That has to be super embarrassing because one thing that is the security is tighter than the bank. It's that sporting events and professional athletes and all that other stuff.
Yeah.
So, it's definitely 100% legit.
I just picture it being like the Wizard of Oz. Like he gets up there and there's just a big wall.
Yeah. So embarrassing. So embarrassing.
Oh my gosh. And he had to spell his name. Juantarius, Juantarius. Like he was like, why did my mom just name me Steve?
Oh my God.
Juantarius. How about, so speaking of football, let's stay on that real quick. DK Metcalf.
Yeah.
What a story. Did you watch him? You know what's funny?
I caught the highlights.
As fast as he is, he got smoked in that
by
race.
Professional athletes.
Yeah,
He
no
do this
doubt,
every day.
no doubt.
So, but I give him mad props though because he didn't come in dead last. And, they compared his body to Usain Bolt, and, he has 30 pounds of muscle on him. So the guys he run against, little quick dude.
Can you imagine trying to tackle a man who runs that fast and is that big? I can't imagine what these little quarterbacks think when they see him coming at him.
Like Denzel Ward.
Oh my gosh, what's he gonna do if that dude decides to run him over? And then when he ran down the kid last year,
after the
interception, that speed.
Is
he? And I, if you remember back in the '80s, and the Los Angeles Raiders were notorious for this, of recruiting world-class sprinters to be wide receivers. But the reason that it never worked is because they were super fast, but a lot of them, number one, they couldn't catch. And the other side of it is they were so slight that they would get hurt, they would get hit, they weren't able to compete. And Willie Gault from the Chicago Bears, their Super Bowl team in '85, Willie Gault was a world-class sprinter that ran in the Olympics. I believe Tim Brown might have been an Olympic sprinter at one point, or they had somebody on that team with him. But that trend went away. And then all of a sudden now you've seen some just speed guys make it into the league, and you're looking at Metcalf now. I wonder if that's a trend we're going to see again, where they start going out just trying to find speed guys. They can get out there and get after.
Yeah, but that track speed and football speed, you got to I would think more like running backs as well, because they tend to have some success. Especially with the running back. So,
but you have to be big to be a running back in a way. You can't be slight. You have to have some weight on you. And you start putting weight on some of those sprinters, they slow down real fast.
At least 200 pounds, maybe.
Yeah. You got to have a little bit of weight on you to be a running back.
Yeah, but sometimes those short people, their legs turn real fast too. That over
like Mario.
So yeah, exactly. Sometimes short people are the fastest people. Well, this is our time.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for being back today. I'm gonna miss you next week, but you can get at me at 1ST Lady of Sports on Instagram and Twitter, and Rachel L. Hill on the Facebook. So
the Facebook.
Yeah. So thank you so much for listening to Her in the Huddle on WOVU at 95.9 FM. We are out of here.